talking about handling the ones you might get at the house, but rarely are going to get on the phone. For example, well, how do I know I can trust you? I have never had a seller ask me that question. They might have been thinking it, but my answer is very simple. Do you have any reason to believe you can't trust me? Shut up. Well, I just met you. Well, that's true. And I just met you. So if I do what I say, can I trust you to do what you say? I had to take the knees right off underneath them. Probably not going to get past that. But if necessary, well, listen, I'm here to buy your house. And, I'm willing to take on all that responsibility and start making that payment that you're now making. I don't know why I'd be here doing that if I didn't intend to follow up on what I say I'm going to do. Would you agree? Now it's up to them. Very easy one to overcome. But folks, I'm going to tell you, if you get asked that question, it's probably because of something that came out of your mouth that generated mistrust on the other side. 99% of the problems that real estate investors face are self-made. And what comes out of your mouth will determine what goes into your bank account. So you've got to practice on your language. And as time goes on, you'll get better and better at it. And we don't go in sellers' houses, for example, and use words like subject to. They don't have any idea what that means, all right? Keep the industry lingo out of your mouth when you're talking to sellers. Simple, simple, simple. I try to answer their questions as simply as in short of an answer that I can give, and shut up and wait for the next one if there is a next one. No long speeches. Well, how long of a term are you asking? Well, some people give me 30 years. Some people give me less. What's the longest you can give me? Oh, I wanted it done in a couple of years. Well, I can tell you right now, I may not get it done in a couple of years, and I'm not going to make you a promise I can't keep. I haven't done one in less than 10 years since I can remember. You can at least send me 10 years, can't you? I'm telling you right now, most of the time that they say yes. Well, if they don't, you keep working down. Well, then what can you give me? Oh, I might go to 5, best I can do. So if I don't give you 5 years, you're not ready to sell me your house? I can tell you right now, if you give me 10, I'm ready to buy it. Maybe settle at 7. Listen, in these few seconds that you're having a conversation with a seller, you're creating a deal that could last for years. And I promise you, if you don't push for the best deal you can get, you're going to hate yourself later when you're looking back at it and say, I know I could have got 10 years out of them if I just pushed them a little bit further. Because when it hurts the most is when that 5 years is up. and now well, that's a good question. What happens if the 5 years goes by and you haven't paid them off? What do you do? Well, there's always suicide, but that's probably not at the top of your list. The answer is very simple. The seller has 2 choices, and only 2. They can take the house back, in which case you'll give it back. They ain't going to foreclose on it. If they did, remember, your name ain't in it, but that you don't do that. If you haven't paid it off in 5 years and they want it back, you're going to give the house back to them. It's that simple, okay? Now, of course, they got to pay the closing cost, but you'll give it back to them. Or you can just ask them to extend the term. Now, of those 2, which one do you think they're going to do? Well, if we have hyperinflation like we've had in the recent past, they might want the house back. All right. So if that's the case, then give it back. You've already made thousands and thousands of dollars on it and monthly cash flow and depreciated for several years. Give it back. Now, I have never given one back, but if it'll help you sleep at night, then that's the only 2 options they got. Take the house back or extend the term. You're going to do whatever one they ask you to do. It's the right thing to do. 5 years goes by and you haven't paid them off. Because, guys, you're not going to pay them off till your tenant buyer goes and gets a loan. And I've already told you, most of them won't. So you're in your 5th year. I wouldn't, unless, your tenant buyer ain't going to last that long. They're going to move out and you're going to put another one in. But obviously, you got to make sure that your term on your lease is well before your balloon on your outgoing payment. And if that is, you're in total control. So if I put a tenant buyer in their house and their option expires 6 months before my balloon, they move out, they lose it anyway. If they don't move out, they're past their option term. So if I have to give the house back, then their problem, not my problem. On the other hand, if I have to give it back, the seller is probably going to want a tenant in there anyway. So, I don't worry about things like that. Truth is, I've never given one back because I always found a way to solve the problem prior to that. And usually it's just get an extension. That's nothing but a few words and an email. All they got to do is email me that they'll extend it for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or whatever. We're done. That's all I need. I don't need to go get new term, new lease agreement, or any of that nonsense. I just wanted in writing they agreed to extend it. All right. Here's a good one. Oh, what if you don't pay me off by then? Well, let's look at it this way. Would you agree that in 5 years, the house is going to be worth a lot more than it is now? And they're going to say, yeah, probably. Okay. Would you also agree that the debt is going to be a lot lower than it is now? Yes. Well, John, I could make you the case the best thing can happen is that I don't pay it off in 5 years. Wouldn't you agree? It takes the wind right off from underneath them because it's true. The best thing that happened to them is if I don't pay it off within 5 years. Well, I need to let my attorney see the agreement. Well, we've already been through that. As soon as we have an agreement, you can do that. Can't have an agreement until we agree on terms, until I come out to the house. And then I'll get you an agreement to send to your attorney. Okay? So I want you to send a contract for their attorney to see before you even visit the house. Same answer. I can't do a contract till I see the house and we agree upon how to fill in the blanks. That's the answer.